decentralized renewable energy mini-grids. For countries with low rural electrification rates, decentralized renewable energy, or DRE mini-grids, are a faster, less costly, and more climate-resilient option for rural electrification compared to the central grid. Mini-grids can provide greater energy access than household solutions such as solar lanterns, solar home lighting systems, and solar pumping. They are designed to provide electricity to many households and sometimes multiple communities. However, in communities where energy demand is minimal, household solutions would be more viable than mini-grid solutions. Where the central grid has arrived, DRE mini-grids can be allowed to feed into the central grid, making it more reliable by alleviating low voltage issues commonly experienced in rural areas. In places where there are regulations in place, this allows mini-grid communities that generate excess electricity to sell to the central grid, creating additional income. DRE mini-grids help to establish energy democracy because they reduce rural communities' dependency on top-down, large-scale infrastructure for rural electrification, which often involves socio-environmentally destructive megadams and coal power plants. In fact, DRE mini-grids can be designed, financed, constructed, commissioned, and sustained by rural communities themselves in partnership with technology service providers. In this way, rural communities transform from being consumers to prosumers. What are the different types of DRE mini-grids? DRE mini-grids include biomass gasifiers, hydro, solar PV, and wind mini-grids. The nature of mini-grid development is such that systems must be customized to meet each community's energy demand, resource availability, and governance structures. Mini-grid development partners tend to be technology agnostic, meaning they do not have a preference for one technology. However, it is also extremely crucial to practice technology differentiation, where we differentiate each technology's advantages and disadvantages. Let's take a closer look at each DRE solution in terms of resource availability, localized components, costs, and local know-how. Each technology has its own advantages. For instance, hydro mini-grids have lower cost per kilowatt. Abundant sun in most places means solar is versatile. Easy storage biomass resource allows optimum efficiency for gasifiers. And local manufacturing leading to lower operation and maintenance costs for wind and hydro can be beneficial. There are also certain limitations associated with each technology. Accessing funds for high initial investment is an issue for both hydro and solar mini-grids, while wastewater management is a challenge for biomass gasifier mini-grids. Batteries in wind systems face high variability and high maintenance costs, while diesel mini-grids emit greenhouse gases. According to the Swiss Resource Center and Consultancies for Development, the percentage of local contribution is only 5% in solar battery and diesel mini-grids, while it can be up to 60%, 70%, and 95% for wind, hydro, and biomass mini-grids, respectively. Higher local contribution means increased local job creation. Providing electricity for productive end use, such as machinery for agri-processing, construction, and other local livelihood, generates optimal impact and sustainability of mini-grids. Mini-grids that are not dependent on batteries, such as hydro and biomass mini-grids, are cost-effective for powering motorized loads. The range of costs for investment and operation and maintenance differ across mini-grid technologies. The range of investment costs for biomass gasifier and wind battery systems can be up to 13,000 USD per kilowatt, compared to as low as 300 USD per kilowatt and 500 USD per kilowatt for diesel and hydro mini grids respectively. However, hydro mini grids per kilowatt costs vary based on the site terrain. The costs for operation and maintenance, also called O&M costs, are on average across kilowatt capacity ranges about 10% of investment costs for all technologies except hydro mini grids, which incur 2 to 5% of investment costs. Additionally, the recurring costs of replacing battery banks in PV and wind mini grids increase O&M costs. Since they require minimal structures made from concrete and therefore less construction time, the installation time for PV and PV hybrid mini grids is less compared to biomass gasifiers, hydro, and wind mini grids. In terms of environmental costs, for each technology, the impact of greenhouse gas emissions, the material life cycle, and the impact of mining for the required raw material can be considered. Because each mini-grid technology must be customized to the community and natural resource, and because each technology has pros and cons, prior to deciding the technology, it is important to assess the natural resource potential for each technology, namely biomass, hydro, solar, and wind resource, to provide the community information on the advantages and disadvantages of each technology, and if possible, visits to communities that use each, and to ensure there is an inclusive process to deciding the solution involving the community and the developer.